Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited because today I have with me somebody that I consider just such a dear, dear person. Carol has joined us, and she's gonna tell us all about what she thinks about collaboration. So these are collaboration conversations, and we're diving into the pros and the cons of collaborations, what makes a good one, what makes a not so good one, because I feel like it's from the ones that didn't work so well that we actually learn the most. And so I'm inviting you all, if you have questions, if you have comments, just feel free to drop them over in the chat. And as much as I can, I'll try to incorporate those as part of our conversation. But welcome, everybody. Welcome, Carol. Before we get started talking about this whole topic of collaboration, will you just share with our audience what it is that you do all day long? What on earth are you over there doing?
Well, here I am in my ruby ribbon room, and I love helping women get rid of their uncomfortable, unhealthy bras for a comfortable alternative. And I do fittings. I do a lot of online fittings, virtual fittings, and I'm doing some in-person fittings now. Of course, I've been with the company for almost 6 years, so I've been doing a lot of fittings over the last few years. And we have not only our longer camisole version. You'll see some of my girls back here. They're showing
The
sample
ladies.
examples, my ladies, and they were dressed up for the weekend. They have all their scarves on. They were partying this weekend. Yeah. And then we have the short alternative too. So we call those the demiettes, and the longer ones are the camis. So I help women feel more comfortable and confident and supported and healthy every day, all day long. And in addition, we have a swimwear line and an athletic or athleisure wear line. So I'm enjoying doing that.
Well, that's wonderful. So let's talk about collaboration because that's what we're here to talk about today. Let us talk a little bit about what your experience has been with collaboration. Like when I say collaboration, what comes to mind for you? Are you a veteran collaborator? Are you just kind of putting your toes into the waters of collaboration? Where are you standing on this whole idea of collaboration?
Well, I'd have to say I've jumped in with both feet. And a few years back, when I started with Ruby Ribbon, I was, you first introduce it to your friends and your family, and you kind of your circle gets bigger, and then you say, wait a minute, I think if I could find some women and develop some relationships beyond my circle, right, it's going to grow my business. So I joined several network groups, including starting with the Chamber of Commerce for my town in Avon. And then, of course, Ladies Power Lunch and eWomen Network. There's been a lot of women's groups, especially because my product is based with women, that I've gotten involved with their network groups. And it's just been amazing. It's all about relationships, right? Starting with the relationships. And I think my business has grown exponentially from those relationships, and also referrals. All day long, I have women that'll say, oh my gosh, I love what you do and your products. And I have a sister, a mom, a daughter, a friend, a coworker that needs to meet you, so that's how you kind of spread what we call the Ruby love with my business. Yeah.
So, who are some of the best collaborators for your kind of business?
Women who are very well connected in terms of the number of women that they're working with, and maybe they have their own businesses, or they have Facebook. They have a lot of friends on Facebook. They know a lot of people in the community, people that are well connected, and also people who are good with their social media. So, for example, last week I had a hostess, and she was fantastic with her social media, and she's very well connected. And that just, it works well for me. Yeah, lots.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You say that when you started your Ruby Ribbon business, that as far as collaboration goes, you jumped in with both feet and you see the benefits of collaboration because you say it's grown your business exponentially. But
Mhm.
my thought on this is that not everybody feels the same way that you do. I mean, there are some people out there who they might be thinking about collaboration, but they might be very hesitant. What do you think is holding people back from collaborating in the way that you so greatly embrace?
I think you have to be willing to kind of put yourself out there, right? Really, not be a behind the scenes person, but really, come forward and be willing to meet people and share what you do. And then in return, also learning about what they're doing. So it's a two-way street. Like, I think, like here we are coming up on the holidays and we all want to support each other's businesses. And what better way than to say, oh, my friend April that sells jewelry, I want to make sure that I'm getting some, I'm supporting her like she's supporting me. So it's a two-way street.
Say a little bit more about that two-way street because I feel like you've hit on something there that is really the key to what can make a collaboration either work really, really well or fall absolutely flat. What has your experience been? Have you had any stories or any situations that have come up where somebody has not been a two-way street or where the two-way street has just been like a two-way highway?
Yes, I have to say. So, sometimes people commit to things that they're unable to follow through on. And that could be one scenario where, they say they're going to work with me and then I end up doing it all and they've kind of gone missing. So that has happened. And then in another situation, I was thinking about a craft fair that I was invited to, and I try to be open minded. I think it's very important to be open minded to whatever kind of comes your way. But then you have to sift. You have to sift through what is actually going to work for me. So I was going to talk about this craft fair because I got invited and I went with my products, and it just wasn't my market. Like people, it was a beautiful event and there were a lot of nice people there and everything, but it wasn't my market. I didn't do very well, and I always give it like a 6-month period to look back because sometimes you meet people and they don't come forward right away, but they'll call you 3 or 4 months down the road and say, hey, I met you at that craft fair and I really am interested. But that didn't go well for me, this particular event. And then so you step back and you go, I don't think I should do that. I have to really do my homework, figure out which things are, where are my avatars shopping, right? Where are the women that need what I have? um, where are they going, where are they looking? You really have to do your homework and figure that out and see if the two mesh.
See if the two mesh. That's really I think that's really the key to really find out if the person that you want to collaborate with, or in this case, the craft fair that you wanted to collaborate with, is also meshing with where exactly your ideal client is showing up. And it might be a great craft fair or it might be a great idea for collaboration, but if your people aren't going to be there, then it's really and truly not necessarily going to be the best situation for you. So I totally get it. I just want to say hi to our friends who've joined us over on Facebook. Hello Keisha, hello Pam. Pam is actually hosting our Ladies Power Lunch monthly networking meeting this month, and so we look forward to getting some really great nuggets from her. Want to say hi also to Taya, who's over there on Facebook as well. So thanks, guys, for joining us. If you have any questions, just go ahead and post them in the chat. So let's talk a little bit about the pros and the cons of collaboration. I mean, what would you say to some people who are thinking about it, kind of on the fence about whether a collaboration's a good idea for them? You said it's grown your business tremendously. Any other advantages for you?
Well, I think, when you get together with somebody that you've decided to collaborate with and you do your planning, it's very important to kind of plan and give yourself enough time, lead time for the marketing and all that, so you can make it successful that way. Like sometimes that's where it falls short, is, you know, you kind of throw something out there and sometimes that works, sometimes the spaghetti sticks to the wall and sometimes it doesn't, right? So the planning is important, and you know, just really working together to, so you're on the same page, and you understand, you know, what, again, what your market is and how it's going to play out.
So planning, being on the same page, understanding your market, those are some of the really, really important things to focus in on when we're gonna actually decide to do a collaboration. That's really, really great. Any things that you would suggest that people absolutely avoid when they're going to have a collaboration?
Well, I think I've already mentioned one, which is, you know, doing your homework and not, and making sure
Hmm.
you're not going to jump into something that's not your market. And then you want to kind of feel like, you know, how when you walk into a room and you meet people and there's just certain people you just connect with right away, and then others that maybe not so much. So you want to work with people that you feel a connection to. Yeah.
Feel a connection. So, it's so interesting. And we had this similar conversation yesterday on Collaboration Conversations. It's been coming up every single time. People keep talking about the energy
Yeah.
associated with the collaboration. And that's not really something that any of us can quantify in any appreciable way. But when it's there, you know it. And when it's not, you absolutely feel its absence. So it's interesting that almost to a one, every single person that I've been having these conversations with has brought it up that you have to check into the energy. So I think we're going to have to really devote some time to talking about this energy as we go forward. What do you feel is the significance of this energy? I mean, it's so intangible.
It is intangible, and I don't know how it happens. Well, you and I have talked about this. You just, it's just more of a gut feeling. You know, when you think
Feeling.
things aren't going right or things are going right, or you walk into a room and you feel that energy from other people, um, I think you have to, you know, open your mind to be in tune with that, and really listen to how you're feeling about it. And sometimes you really don't know why.
Sometimes you really don't. Do you have any stories about any time when you've kind of felt like, maybe I shouldn't do this, but you went ahead and did it anyway?
Yeah, I think I've definitely had those situations. I'm trying to think of a good example.
I mean, most of us, we can probably everybody think of times when we've just thought, this is not for me, this is not for me, and we've gone ahead with it anyway, and it has been an absolute disaster. And on paper it might have looked like the perfect collaboration, the perfect setup, but there was just that feeling. You know what I think it is? I think that our senses are always working all the time. And there's some things that we're processing in the foreground, and there's some things that we're processing in the background. But our mind is really collaborating, but putting all of this information together. And so it's coming through as a feeling, even though we might not have like a specific reason for saying no to it. But I want to also say that no is a complete sentence, and no thank you is a perfect sentence. So being able to say yes and to say no is always an option that we have right now. Any stories about times when you've had a collaboration that might have been a little bit unusual? Probably not exactly one that would have seemed intuitive, but then it turned out to be just an amazing collaboration.
Yeah, I actually do have one that comes to mind right away, which is I have a customer who's a competitive dancer. And she and I met at one of the events that I was doing, and she has these beautiful dresses, and she came over and we had to find the right thing. And she's very happy with her undergarments under her beautiful competitive dresses for when she dances, because she's got to have everything stay in place and move, you know. But anyway, so she called me one day and she said, I'm going to be competing in this event, which is like an hour and a half away. It was in Rhode Island somewhere. And she said, I'd like you to come and watch, watch the event. And I thought, oh gosh, it's going to be like the whole day. You know what I mean? And it was kind of like unsettling thinking, but I want to support her with what she's doing. So I go, and I brought a bag full of my stuff with me, just, because I'm thinking that maybe there'll be other people like her there that want to look. So there are all these vendors that make the beautiful dresses there. There were probably 5 or 6 vendors, and I went from one to the next, and I was talking to them, and they're like, let me see what you have. And they were just absolutely loving. So suddenly it like opened this whole new thing. It was an entire region, like several states. I think there were 5 states represented. And so when I was going, I was thinking I was just going to watch her dance. And suddenly I was connecting with other studios across, this multi-state area that can use my products. So like really expanded what I.
That's amazing. I love, 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 love that story because it's also taking into consideration that we do have to be very discerning as to whether we're actually feeling an absence of an energetic connection or whether we're just feeling like it's something that we probably would be a little bit too tired to do. There is a difference between
Yes.
those two energies. And in this case, you were able to determine that, you know what, you're just probably feeling like you don't want to do the drive, but you're definitely feeling the connection with this person.
Correct. Exactly.
And so it turned out to be quite a double laned highway for you
It
as far
was.
as connections go and being able to expand your business. So that's a really, really great story. I
Yeah.
love that one. Do you have any others that you want to share with us?
Hmm. Um, well, that was the one that popped right into my mind. I'm sure there are others. It's amazing how sometimes you're going down a path and something will fall in your lap and like, wait a minute, I'm not really ready for that or interested in that right now, but kind of piques your interest, and you take a turn and you go down this other road and you go, oh my gosh, this is exactly where I need to be. And I'm not thinking of an exact example of that, but I know that it happens. And again, just being open to what comes your way, you know?
I love that. I have found, I mean, not just in collaborations, but just in life in general, that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the answers to the questions that we're asking don't come directly. So sometimes you have to go do this one thing. And then when you do this one thing, then it leads you to something else. And then the something else might lead you to the thing that you're looking for. But it's probably not going to be like a direct straight line. And so being open to whatever opportunities are available, that's really, I think, a key to having the right collaborations land in your lap. And we have one of your collaborators, April, joining us over on Facebook. And she says, yes, be open to what arrives. I absolutely agree with that, April. Absolutely 100%. Also, want to say hi to Tina, who's joining us over on Facebook as well. So, do you have any suggestions if there are people out there who are thinking about having a collaboration, thinking about going down this road? Any words of wisdom, any books you think they should be reading, any hacks, any apps, anything at all, podcasts, websites, whatever, anything that you think they could use to help them?
Oh, there's so many. Like I like the book Get Over Your Damn Self because it gets you out of your comfort zone. So thinking outside the box comes to mind. And I want to share something that April just reached out for me recently, and this is such a good thing that she did. So she and I have, like I said, we collaborated with a multi-vendor event online earlier this year. It was so much fun. We had so much fun. And she just asked me, because I had mentioned to her last year before the holidays that I have a team. You know, I'm a director, so I have a team of people that I like to send little gifts to in the holidays. And she said, "Are you going to be doing that again this year?" And I said, "Yeah, Chris, I haven't even thought about that because I'm just dealing with today and hadn't thought ahead to the holidays." But she got me thinking about it, and she's like, "Oh, let me make you something specific for the people on your team." So we just did that, and I'm very excited. So she made some bracelets for my teammates with the, you know, with the their letters and different things, with the using the red and the ruby ribbon, and I'll be able to send those out. And that, gosh, my shopping's already done for them. You know, it was perfect. But if she hadn't initiated that conversation with me, because I wasn't thinking that, that wouldn't have happened.
Beautiful, beautiful. And it's just such a great thing to be able to have a community from which you can really choose different collaborators that are going to be appropriate for different times in your life or different things that you need. So we love you, Carol. We love the things that you do. We love the conversation that we've been able to have with you today. And if anybody's watching and they'd like to reach out to you, how can they do that?
Well, probably the easiest thing is just to either on Facebook or I was going to say just use my phone number, 860-205-2372. You can text me. You can call me. I have a sizing form that I use. I send out to people. And for collaborating, you know, upcoming events, you know, reach out. Let's see what we can do together.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Carol, for joining us today. And thank you, everybody who joined us over on Facebook. Thank you, everybody who's listening to this on the replay. Thank you, everybody who's listening to it on the podcast, watching us on our YouTube channel, or wherever it is that you find this, because we're everywhere. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you all next time. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank,
Bye.
thank you. Bye bye.